Okay. So I don't know. I've been in a little funk lately. I'm for sure coming out of it. Um, I went into it a little rageful, a little frustrated with the world that we live in, frustrated with our food system and our society. And so I was having a conversation with my daughter the other day, and I asked her permission to share this story. So it's 5 a.m. right now and I can't sleep, so I'm going to share this story with you. My daughter used to suffer from headaches really bad when she was a kid. Sometimes to the point where I for sure think they were migraines. She would puke. She would, have to be in a completely dark room, and they would knock her out. So there was a time in, I want to say 2019. She, at that time, our diet, what we ate was that bagged cereal, like from Bottom Shelf, that Fruity Pebbles knockoff. That was Micah's favorite cereal. She would eat 3 or 4 bowls of that at a time. And so there was one day when I said something about it, and the person I was with was like, yeah, look at the fucking shit she's eating. And I was like, huh? So then I started to pay attention, and sure shit, every time she had that cereal, she would get a headache. So I cut it out of our diet. And then I went to nutrition school and I learned about actually what red dye number 40 is and what it does, and not just red dye number 40 but all of the dyes. So yeah, I go to nutrition school and I learn how awful this shit, and it's a hard no for me. I will not purchase that stuff for my kids. I will not poison my kids like that. My kids are at the age where they're practically adults. They get to make their own choices. As as I was learning about it, I obviously talked to my kids about what I was learning, and and my daughter learned that that stuff is poison to her and she really can't have it. But she's still a teenager, and when she does indulge, she just suffers the consequences. So over the years, she would talk about getting a headache, and I was like, "Oh, what'd you eat?" And she said, "Well, yeah, I had 2 bowls of Trix over at Morgan's house." So, like she knew or knows that that stuff affects her. This week it was brought up because she came into my bed one morning and was talking about how she's had a headache for 24 hours. And so I asked the question, have you had any Red 40? And she says, yeah, I had that bag of Takis or whatever the fuck they were the night before the headache started. So I guess I just wanted to come on here and tell you that you're poisoning your kids every time you give them Red 40. And like I said, my kids are at the point where they get to make their own decisions. If they buy it, I'm not buying it in my house. So if you have kids that are not buying their own food and you're giving this to them, you're poisoning them. So I just wanted to come on here and sort of maybe let you know that. And no judgment, I poisoned my kids, and holy fuck, the guilt I went through once I learned, like, I was the reason my kids suffered those headaches or so. Like, I was the reason we had to take her to a neurologist. Like, and it was all because of what I was feeding her. As soon as I stopped feeding her that shit, the headache stopped. Okay, that's my 5 a.m. wrap.